What's up, guys? It's 5 a.m. It is February 5th, 2:26. Guys, wakey wakey, eggs and bakey. Brand new day, we got the eggs. About to start the day, got the coffee. Let's go. All right, so this is inside my triple whale. So these are all campaigns that I have running. So what I do is I made these columns at the top. So I put new customer cost per action, which is purchase, cost per action, this is really just CAC, customer acquisition cost. And then this is average order value. And then this is conversion value on the website using the pixel from Triple Whale. And this is new customer conversion value. So I can see here that I spent $22 and a new customer, see new customer purchase, got me $60. So I know I can leave this on. You know what I mean? Or I can even scale it, but I'm gonna leave it. And then you can see below that is 13. I spent 13. A new customer bought $48, average order value. Do you see what I'm saying? But if you subtract this from this will tell you how profitable it is. And you can do it over time. Oh, uh-oh. Got a virus or something. All right, guys, we're taking the 992. So we're running a little bit behind. I don't have time to get the 993. I'd have to move everything over my laptop, all my stuff. So we're just taking this one for now. All right, so somebody commented and asked me, how'd you get started in life? Like in what area? That's what they were asking. So how my life originally started was, I was a little kid and my parents split up. And I'm just giving you guys the full story. When I was real little, I was like 3 years old. And then I would see my dad every other weekend and every Monday night. And then I had a stepdad that moved in with us. His name was Joe. And you guys are like, this is not what I wanted to hear. And I'm filming my steering wheel because I'm at my son's school. I'm dropping my son off at his school. So I just don't show my little kids school, you know. So, and the parents and stuff and the other kids. So I was a little kid. I went through all the regular routes like everybody else. I went and played different sports, baseball, soccer. I think I kicked the soccer ball in the wrong goal. Like everything we did, I think we quit growing up because it was just like we just gave up. You know, little by little, we just like tried all these different things. I was always quitting stuff. We did karate. That was probably one of the longest things I did. Taekwondo. And then what else did I do? Then I got a little older. My brother and I got really big into skateboarding. So we started skateboarding nonstop. My stepdad, Joe, built us a quarter pipe. That's like half of a half pipe in the front yard on our street. So we'd skate out front of our house all the time. Then as we started getting older, we started skating up to the mall that was near our house. Then we started getting in trouble. We started hanging out with bad kids. We started getting in all kinds of trouble. I didn't get arrested, but I got picked up. I got driven to the school by the police. Like came to my house, knocked on my door, stuff like that. But we were bad. We got in a lot of trouble. My brother got arrested. He had a bunch of people in his car and they had stuff in their pockets. That's why you gotta be careful who you hang out with. They had a bunch of people had stuff in their pockets, weapons and drugs, and they stuffed it in the seat of my brother's car. And when they got out, they were like, whose are these? And my brother wasn't gonna rat on anybody, so he took the blame for everything. And he ended up, I don't know if I guess he got arrested, but he had to go to like a place every single week and take a urine test and stuff like that. This isn't what you guys are asking about. I'm giving you guys just the backstory, you know, of like what type of life, you know, like we grew up in the suburbs outside of Baltimore, like 30 minutes outside of Baltimore. But my dad, he grew up like right near the city, like on the line of the city. So every other weekend, my brother and I were going out to visit him and we would go skateboard. It was fun, like in the more urban area. So that was so cool, like when we were kids, I can remember. But we were obsessed with like CCS magazine and all the different skateboard brands. And our dream was to move to California and to be skateboarders. And we thought that's what we thought we were gonna do. And that's what we thought we were gonna make money doing. So we were not concerned about school. We were not concerned about any of that stuff. We both were just kind of focused on that. My brother's way smarter than me, I think. He got way better grades than me, I think. I don't know what kind of grades he got, to be honest. I never even asked him. And then I have a sister too, an older sister, and she's really cool. She lives in New York, Ithaca, like outside of Ithaca, New York. But so we just were going through the motions, doing our thing, getting in trouble. And then as I started getting a little bit older, I started getting a little bit worse. I got in a little bit more trouble. I was acting out. I don't know if it was the stuff from my childhood and I didn't know how to express it, but I would start acting out. Like I was just like I was just bad. Like I would get in fights. We walked to school and like somebody'd say something and I would just be like, I don't know. I can remember this kid, Kevin. I had like longer hair because I was into like Nirvana, and he's like said something about me or something, and then we just would fight. Like it would be like, I was always getting in trouble. So then in middle school, I actually got expelled from the middle school. I don't know if I ever told this story, but I got expelled. I got completely expelled, like literally expelled for shoving the principal. Like I said, I was a bad kid. I guess I didn't really have guidance or something. I don't know. But my mom, she was the head of this group called Tough Love. So they had to parent you tough. Like that's what the whole group was. I think she was the head of it. And my cousin, he was bad too. And his mom was like talking to my mom, trying to figure out what to do with us because we were both so bad. So I had no focus on making money, getting a good job, going to college, nothing like that. My focus was on getting back into my regular school. This all happened in middle school. So then by like high school, I kind of feel like I straightened up. I got to come back to my town's high school because before that I was going to a school 30 minutes away, and it was like a bad school. It was like a brick building like that, and it had cameras, and you had to take a short bus there. I had to get on this bus, dude, and drive an hour around picking up everybody, and then drive like 30 minutes away from the town I lived in to another area. So once I got through all that stuff, then I also got sent away to like a kid's place because I was really bad and I acted out. That was probably that's something it's still embedded in my mind. That's like, you have traumatic events in your life. Because I remember like I got taken there, and then I remember like I was left there, and like they gave me one of those nightgowns, and I remember like waking up in the morning. I think I might have told this story. I can't remember. I might have told it and then not put it in the video. I think that's what I did. Watch me do it again. But maybe I'll just put it in. Who cares? So, I mean, we are who we are. Our stories are what our stories are. You know what I mean? I feel like those things make you a strong person. All the stuff you go through, all the adversity you go through in your life, you think you're embarrassed of it or something, and then you look back and you're like, oh, dude, that's my superpower. You know what I mean? My son said it really well. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it's almost like the darker the times, the more emotionally intelligent you are. He said something like that. But so he also said something really good too. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said, if your value is embedded in you and you know your value, no one can take it away from you, and like no external thing is making up your value. He said it so eloquently though. He's really smart. So I'm the hippo at the time trying to repeat what the PhD said. Man, look at that green X5M. New one. Those are not cheap. So I get put to this place or whatever. I remember waking up with the nightgown on, and there's like like I said, I had like a little bit longer hair because I was all into like Nirvana back then. I played like guitar and stuff. And I remember they're like, yo, George has got a girl in his room, yo. George has got a girl in his room. There was like 10 dudes standing in the doorway. I'm like, oh God. I had to grow up real quick. The little kid that was acting out and causing trouble and being tough guy, I had to grow up real quick because I had to really be tough guy. You know what I mean? So I went through that experience, but that really I feel like I grew a lot through that. It was like scary, and it was like a hard time in my life. But I remember like the moment was scary because I felt like I was like, when am I getting out of this place? I didn't know what was going on. They like threw white powder all over me. Do you know what I mean? To like disinfect you, like naked in a room. And like you would get in an argument with somebody, they would literally just put you in like a room and be like, they would like just let you like fight. Like it was like one of those kind of where I was like, it was just like, I don't know, it just felt like I was like, I gotta get the hell out of this place. So yeah, I went through that, and then by the time I got back to high school, dude, I was just like normal. Everybody's like, Chris is back. What's he doing back? I was like, well, I'm back. And I was just more, at that time I was just like, all right, I just want to get through school. So I didn't get good grades. I actually had a period throughout the day that I got to go to like a special room, and I just got to do like my homework with a teacher, like one period a day. I guess it was special ed. I'm starting to realize now. You guys are watching, you're like, dude, you're special ed, bro. I mean, I don't know what I was. I was taking the period though. I was like, I'll take it. So I was the kid that did his homework like the morning of, like, do you know what I mean? Like the morning, I was doing homework in homeroom. But somehow I got it all done, you know? I was always good with organized chaos. Kind of like now. So got through high school. The entrepreneurial stuff kind of started in high school. That's when I explained this in that video, becoming an entrepreneur. But I won't get into all that stuff because that's kind of more in that video. But that did start in high school with a skateboard company I wanted to start. It was called Irish Skateboards. Check it out. Carrera 996, I guess. I get thrown off sometimes. 996. Yeah, 996. Yeah, so basically, I started working a regular job. I worked at Roy Rogers. I had a 1989 Ford Escort hatchback. My buddy Vince had an Omni, Dodge Omni. It looked like the same car. We used to call his car the Ripper, Little Ripper. It was covered in skateboard stickers. We would take it. The second they got their licenses, they were older than me. We were driving to Philly to skate Love Park. We were going to New York. We were going to DC to skate Pulaski Park, or they call it the Map. We were skating all the well-known skate spots as like little kids. So we were very independent. I want to say that's with my kids. I want to make them independent because that's really powerful. When you are independent and you trust and you believe in yourself and you're not scared of the world. You know, when you just stay on your street your whole life, you go out in the world and you're like, you've got no street smarts or like social skills. We were socialized, you know, like we were on the street talking to homeless guys. And I was like 15, you know, like, and I'm in the middle of DC. My mom thinks I'm hanging out at my friend's house, like down the street. We're like 2 hours away or like an hour away. But so I'm not saying to recommend to send your kids out in the city and do stuff like that, but I'm saying that you can't connect the dots, you know, until you look back and you're like, man, that really helped me to be like more independent and to trust and believe in myself in different kinds of social situations. This Tesla's got the carbon fiber handles. I haven't seen that. Nice little touch. It's got the carbon fiber mirrors too. So I was working at Roy Rogers. I met some of my good friends there. Shout out to Casey Neal. Haven't seen him in years. They're three brothers. They were some wild brothers. And then my buddy Vince, who's one of my best friends, still is, but I just haven't talked to him in a while. But if I talk to him, it's like, you know, you got those friends that you just instantly know. So my buddy Vince, he was going through stuff as a kid, and he ended up actually living with the Neals. And the Neals were with a single mother household. So we all just got along, you know. But the Neals were wild, dude. They would fight each other, full-blown fist fights. Like, literally, I've seen them, like, break each other's noses and stuff. I just had wild friends growing up. But, yeah, so we were just, I had friends, you know, but I got good friends with Casey. We were working at Roy Rogers together. I was making chicken. My friend Alex, he also was a good friend. Alex, he ended up going off to be, like, a famous musician. He actually he helped write the soundtrack for We Bought a Zoo and How to Train a Dragon with Yonsei and Seeker Ross. He lives in like Iceland. I think he lives in Iceland. I haven't talked to him since I was a kid, but yeah, so he was one of my friends growing up. We all worked at Rogers, and my buddy Josh Neal, his dad was going through cancer and actually passing away. And that was like one of the saddest things in my life as a kid. I remember I would go to his house all the time after work, and his dad was in a room, and he just had that James Taylor song, I've Seen Fire and I've Seen Rain, and it was playing on repeat, and he was just, you know, like in hospice, like a home nurse, and it was just so sad, you know. And he was one of my good friends, and I haven't talked to him in years, but, you know, just like we just had friends, you know, and all of my friends were going through something or had things with their household. I think it's weird now that I'm saying it out loud and I'm walking back through like my story when I was a kid. That is true. Almost all my friends. That's why I like the whole underdog thing. It's kind of like, that's why I kind of like the biblical stuff. It's like God will take the broken people and make you like kings or something. I'm not saying I'm a king. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like give you hope and give you some kind of guidance to get you out of what you're going through. And I'm saying that is like an inspirational thing. Like wherever you are right now, trust me. I mean, I had everything. I had all the opportunities in the world that I just didn't take advantage of them. Like, my mom had a college fund for me, all that stuff. I'm not saying I grew up like in poverty and I couldn't get ahead from my circumstances, but I'm saying that everybody has something throughout their life, like in their childhood or even in your adulthood, that happens to you that you feel like, oh, I'm not whole, I'm broken. There's no way I can just be just the average person. I can't even get to that level, but you can go way beyond that. I think, like, I'm not super religious, but I like the biblical stuff. Like, I read that quote, it says the meek shall inherit the earth. And I always thought meek meant like weak. But I read this thing and it said, this historian said that meek actually means like men that have swords but keep them sheathed. I was like, oh, that's hard. I like that. You know what I mean? Like, men that have swords but keep them sheathed. Like, almost like you're powerful, but you are humble. I like that. So then I was working at Roy Rogers. My other good friend, he was actually my brother's like best friend at the time. His name is John Landis. Shout out to Landis. He's my best friend now. Him and my brother. Those two are really the only two people. And my buddy Toby. I talk to him pretty often too. But I'm saying they're like my close friend. You know, really close friends that I talk to regularly as an adult. But so what I'm getting at is, I wanted to make more money because Landis was an electrician. The Neal brothers were electricians. My buddy Trevor was an electrician. My buddy Matt Sony, he was a plumber. Our other really good friend we skateboarded with, Will Kleinschmidt, was a plumber. So like they say, you're like the sum of your 5 closest friends. I just wanted to get like a trades job because I saw that they had like $500 a week in paycheck money, and I'm like making nothing at Roy Rogers working. I was still going to school. But then summer came and I thought, oh dude, I'm gonna get like a trades job. So I was actually going in high school. This was the last 2 years of high school, 11th and 12th grade. I was driving on a bus the last 3 periods or 2 hours out of the day to another town from the town we lived in, and I was going to Vote Tech. And the only thing they had left was building maintenance. So I was taking building maintenance. So I learned like masonry, landscaping. Me and this kid Andy, we were the landscapers for Westminster High School. We would I remember like other students like, what are these guys doing? We're like mowing the lawn, you know, and it's like the end of the day, and we're like driving around mowing the lawn. So I learned these things, and I really like the masonry. Actually, I like striking the brick wall. Striking's when you like use a tool to like smooth the mortar out in between the cracks of the brick. So I thought, I'm gonna look it up. So I found a job as a mason laborer. Holy hell, that was a big mistake, dude. That was a big mistake. That I worked for a place called Conway Masonry. Mr. Conway and his son Gus and his other son Bo. And I'll tell you right now, dude, they were some hard cats. They were like, my nickname there was Boy, Pussy. That was my nickname. And yeah, so I was the laborer. So one job they dropped all the cinder blocks on the wrong side of the foundation and all the bricks on the other side. And he's like, oh man, they dropped them on the wrong side. We like arrived at the job site, and I was like, well, should we call them and have them move them? He's like, no, we shouldn't call them. What are you talking about? Just start carrying them over. And I remember like it was like my third day. I didn't have gloves, and I remember my hands, dude, were like bleeding and all cut up. Like, I'm gonna show you on my arm. You can't really tell, but if you look closely at my arm, I have like 1,000 little freckles. It's hard to tell. It's hard to see it in this camera. But what those are is, we did the median strips on Route 40 in Maryland. There's like, in Westminster, Maryland, I think it's Route 40. I might be off with the roads. I can't remember. It's been so long. But there is, Reisterstown Road turns into the road. I can't remember if it's Route 40 or not. But the median strips, we did the brick patterns in those median strips, and I had like a cutoff sleeve shirt. And we were out there for 8-9 hours in the middle of the summer. I didn't know what I was doing, dude. I didn't even put sunscreen on. And I got Irish descent. I had like 3rd-degree burns, like blisters all over my arms. I remember he told me not to come in the next day, but I was like, no, I'm going to come. And I wore a long sleeve, and it was like all burning. But that was another thing I can look back and say, wow, that guy really taught me. he used to keep like a bottle of whiskey in his back pocket. He was wearing like a flannel. It's like 95 degrees outside with a cap on and like jeans. But that guy taught me to not complain and to just freaking get it done. You know what I mean? So I had these people throughout my life that I didn't even realize, but looking back, I'm like, damn, dude, these guys, it was good experiences. Like, I'm glad I did that. Because like then when I became a mechanic, it was my first day in the shop. I wasn't in shock at all. I'm like, these guys are nothing. They should hang out with the Masons. You know what I mean? Before the Roy Rogers job, I never mentioned it. I got a job. I got my work permit. I was 14 years old. And I was 13. I was able to get it. It was like right before my 14th birthday. And I skateboarded to Dunkin' Donuts from my house. I remember I was like all excited that I got it, my first job. But I skateboarded there. It was like 4 in the morning. Because you know how the Dunkin' Donuts open up real early? And it was like pitch black outside. And I remember I got there and I was like, I don't think I can do this every day. And then when I got in there, and it was pretty far too from my house. When I got in there, I remember I was wearing a gray shirt, like a skateboard company shirt. It was like gray heathered. And I remember I was sweating so bad from skating there. You could see the sweat like all over the shirt. And I didn't even have a uniform yet. It was just the first day I was in training. And I remember like it was so hectic. There was like lines of people. And that was the day I realized I'm like, I don't want to work in the front of the fast food place. Like I was like, this is a nightmare. So I remember I just told the guy, I was like, I don't think this is going to be good for me. And I left. So it's the only time I've ever quit my whole life, a job. But I quit. Well, I've quit jobs. I mean, quit without like a proper 2-week notice. All the jobs I worked for a long time. So like when I got a job as a mechanic, I worked at the place from 2004 to 2015. And then when we moved down here, I worked as a mechanic from 2015 to 2016. And then that's when I finally had the business at the level where I could leave. It was still scary. We were still really tight with money, but I was like, I'm going all in. I'm doing it. But I'll get to that stuff later. I'm going to hop off because I'm actually going to grab the laptop and go in this Starbucks and get a coffee. I'm going to work until my wife gets here. We're meeting at the gym. This is going to be my new little routine. Get a little extra done.